Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, that is on Stoxx. Today's the 28th of September 2018. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this last trading day for this week, to Friday's morning session, where we're going to have a look at a few instruments. I believe are quite developing nicely right now. So as always, before we actually start jumping into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so let's have a look at the charts. Now, the first one I'll touch on quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but something just to kind of point out. This is the trade that I've posted here on our JFD brokers account here on TradingView, and this idea that I've posted here, and it's actually at the moment working quite nicely. And also I was talking about the Euro Stoxx 50 index in one of my videos this week, and to be more precise on Wednesday, and this is where I was talking about the possible breaking point here near the highs that we saw around the Friday last week. So as you can see, now we're making a nice pop here to the upside. Yesterday, actually, we made a nice pop to the upside, and we closed the index above this high, above last week's Friday's high. And of course, now we can see that it's kind of getting held here by the 200 EMA now, shown here as the black line on the daily chart. Now, certainly for now, this still continues to look quite bullish, and we could continue moving higher if we get a nice break above this 200 EMA. And the next potential area to watch, the next potential area of resistance to watch, could be around the 3460 mark. As you can see here, it acted as a very nice area of resistance around the 28th of August, and also nice support on the 2nd of August and then the 25th of July. So for now, of course, keep your eyes on this 200 EMA. Further acceleration could lead towards a test of this 3460, but if that doesn't hold, well, have a look at this downside resistance line that we've got here running since around the 23rd of January. This area here could prove to be a nice potential area for resistance, and this is where the price could stall a little bit initially, of course, until kind of the bulls and the bears figure out who takes control here from around this area. Either we're going to get a break here, and which could lead to further higher levels, or actually this is going to hold and then we're going to just roll over again and move down. So for now, be very careful. Like I said, keep your eyes on this. Keep your eyes on this 200 EMA, and of course this 3460 level. So we might end up pushing higher towards a possible test of this downside resistance line taken from the 23rd of January. So keep an eye on it. On the downside, for us to start looking at maybe moves to lower levels here, at least for the short run, we need to see a good reversal back down here below the 3405 mark, and this way this could potentially open the path towards these lower levels here. So, but of course at the moment the downside is slightly off the table and we're aiming for higher levels. Looking at DAX quickly, and DAX is stuck here in this little range. I was talking about this little range here between the 12,325, something like that roughly, and on the upside here, the 12,460. So as you can see, yesterday's candle, we had a nice strong bullish candle. All eyes are on today, because if we get a nice break here today, and if we get a nice close after today, then well, next week we could see further acceleration here to the upside, maybe even aiming for this downside resistance line taken from the 23rd of January as well. And this could play out as a nice area. It could be like a nice magnet for this index. And for now, again, like I said, guys, be very careful. Certainly if, let's say, this day is not going to bring anything, we might just stay here, trade around this zone, and that if we're gonna see this, then to be honest, we're gonna stay away from this index, because well, it's, to be honest, it could move anywhere in this zone, in this little range here between this the 12,325 and the 12,460. So again, for us to kind of start considering any moves either higher, we would need to see a good close above the 12,460, or lower, then well, we need to see a good break and a close below the or should I say more, a big close below the 12,325, because this way we could aim for slightly lower levels. The only problem with the downside here is that we do have this upside support line as well, taken from the 26th of March, and it could initially kind of play out as a nice support, and it could like hold the price a little bit. But to be honest, for us to, let's say, get comfortable with further declines, we would need to see a good break here, not only below this upside support line that I was just talking about, but also a break in the close below the 12,250 again. So this way we could then aim for the 12,100, or even the psychological 12,000 again. So again, keep your eyes on this little range that I was talking about. So let's see how it plays out. Let's jump into gold, and gold is, well, yesterday was in selling mode, and you can see that this area here, I had this area for quite a while sitting here. The 1183 kind of played out nicely, acted as a very nice area of support, and now we're seeing a bit of well, indecision here, and in a way we can see that the bulls are trying to kind of fight back here. But the big question here is, are they going to be able to do that? Because certainly looking at this chart right now, it seems that it could continue, it could get a follow through to the downside, where the next potential area of support could be seen around the 1172 mark, which was the low here around the 17th of August, or even slightly below that, the 1160 zone. So 1160, as you can see, was the lowest point of August this year, so could be a nice area to target. But again, for all that to see, we would need to get a nice break here below the 1183 initially, where then we could aim for the 1272. Sorry, 1172. I do apologize. Yep. On the upside, for us, of course, certainly from the longer term perspective, we would like to see a nice good close above the downside resistance line taken from the peak of the 11th of April. Now, of course, but until we get to that point here, there are some good potential resistance levels to watch here underneath. So of course, for us to get comfortable, maybe for the upside, at least in the short run, we would need to see a good break and a close above the 1190 level, so approximately there. So if we do get a nice reversal here and a close above this level, then well, we could potentially aim for the 1207, or even actually this downside resistance line, so for a possible test of it. Of course, for now, be very careful, as you can see that it's kind of aiming more to the downside right now, so be very careful, and let's see how this develops further on today. Jumping into one crypto, and that's Ripple, and that's, of course, continues to sit here above this very short-term upside support line. And also, let me just actually get rid of this, and also it continues to sit here above the downside resistance line, this like kind of long-term downwards moving resistance line taken from the peak of the 10th of February. So for now, of course, this continues to kind of look more bullish. Certainly we will consider higher levels if we get a nice move here Let me just kind of quickly highlight that area. So if we get a nice move here above the 0.5760 area, approximately there, now this way we could then potentially aim for higher levels, some maybe even going here towards the 0.7060, or actually trying to maybe reach the peak that we saw here on the 21st of September, last Friday. Basically, this is when it spiked here to the upside, and that was around the 0.79 area. So we could maybe potentially start looking at that one. But again, before we kind of start considering higher levels, we need to see a good break and a close above the 0.5760, and this way, like I said, we could start aiming for higher levels. On the downside, a break below this upside support line certainly it would bring a bit of negativity, I would say, but still, nevertheless, you could be very cautious here, and initially, of course, aim for the areas here. So there, let me just quickly adjust a few areas. So you could initially aim for the 0.4230, or even a little bit lower for a possible test of this downside resistance line from above. So something like this could be possible. Again, for now, be very cautious. Would probably just wait and see what he wants to do, and instead of like jumping in. But to be honest, at the moment, just judging by all this formation here, this whole formation here, I mean, it kind of looks more bullish than bearish. But anyway, let's wait until it actually makes a big move. Let's have a look at the euro dollar. Now the euro dollar is in selling mode since yesterday. As you can see, we finally broke this key upside support line. Let me just jump into the 4-hour chart on this one quickly, and this will draw us a better, more clear picture. So as you can see, there's some weakness kicking in, and of course, the moment it's kind of aiming for the yesterday's lows near the 116.35 zone. So if we get a nice break below that, well, keep your eyes on this little level here, the 116.15. A break below that could open the path towards the 115.70. Now this could be a better potential area of support for today, if of course this continues to drop. But again, like I said, keep your eyes on the 115.70. That's the this could play out as a nice support here today. But initially, for that to see, we would need to get a nice break not only below the 116.35, which was like marked by yesterday's lows, but also below the 116.15. Now that area played out as a nice area of support here around the 14th of September and also the 17th of September. So something like that, near that. Again, like I said, this could potentially confirm further declines, and where we could aim initially for the 115.70. On the upside, for us to get comfortable with the upside, well, to be honest, we would need to see a good, nice reversal back above the 117.20 zone, and this way we could then aim for the 117.90 or even the 118 level. So of course, with the upside, it's a bit more difficult right now, because judging by how everything is shaping up right now. But again, this is something to be on the safe side. In order for us to start considering higher levels, we need to see a good close above the 117.20. Looking at the USDJPY, USDJPY continues to trade above this. This upside support line. Let me just get rid of a few of these. Upside support line, certainly it continues in a way to look more bullish than bearish, and as you can see, we've managed to break this key, well, actually a few key resistance areas. Like the first one was the 113.15, and the other one is the 113.40. So now we're kind of hanging around just slightly above that 113.40, and at this point we're going to be aiming for the 113.75. Now this level here acted as a very good area of resistance around the December time in 2017. So keep your eyes on that one. Could be a nice good level to watch. Certainly if further accelerations to the upside could lead to some better levels, but let's keep those for a little bit later, and at the moment let's see if it actually makes a nice move towards the 113.75 today, and if it does, then we'll take it from there. On the downside, again, we'll probably be more comfortable if we see a good break below this upside support line, and also a close below the 113 zone. Now this way we could start pushing for lower levels like 112.55, or even just slightly lower, the 112.45. Now this one has been a nice area of support here, seen around the 23rd of September. So again, for now, just let's see what he wants to do. From the very short-term perspective, for those short-term traders, keep your eyes on the 113.40, because if we get a break here, we could see maybe a follow through towards this upside support line that I was talking about, and we could see a test of that, especially a test of the 113.15 level again. And of course, this is where the bulls could take advantage again of the lower rate and push the pair higher. So again, for now, be very careful, but on the upside here, we're aiming for the 113.75, and on the downside, we need to see a good break and a close below the 113 level in order to consider lower levels. Okay guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. A little bit went over my time, so thank you very much for watching and listening. If you want to join me later on, please do, and join me on my Traders Tea Time, and that's 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much, and bye bye.